exchanging yarns. If my first week in Glasgow taught me anything, it was that people will wear kilts everywhere.
Jamie Vardy, Leicester's top scorer with 22 goals, is a former factory worker and was a non-league footballer less than 5 years ago.
Both parties have their nominees, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. They go into their general election with the nefarious honour of being most disliked party nominees in history.
Matters of debate. Serious question, people. What are you going to do with your degree? I can hear the resounding silence from here.
What are the aims of Critic?
I think our main aim is to hold the student executive accountable, and then it is just to represent student life on campus or what's going on around us, things that are important to students.
Do you think student life shapes Critic or Critic shapes the student life?
I think that the student life probably shapes Critic, and Critic goes about its work by finding out what the students want to read about and then by producing content for the students.
How does Critic reflect student life in Dunedin?
I suppose it's just about writing about students' stories or what's going on campus, and sometimes that can be negative, but most of the time it is positive.
Do you think Critic influences or alters student life in Dunedin?
I'd say it's more of an observation of what's going on the campus, but it can also alter by showing also what's going on campus.
What do you think is the most popular part of Critic?
Blind date.
How can students get involved in Critic?
Easily just by sending us an email or coming into the office or just sharing their stories with us.
How often do you read Critic?
I just kind of read it when I find it lying around, like it was just on a table the other day at the library, so I picked it up and read it, or like somebody brings it to the flat, then I'll read it.
What is your favourite part of Critic?
I have a few favourite parts of Critic. One of them would be the blind date, and then I also quite like the news and brief and the facts and figures.
Do you think student life shapes Critic or Critic shapes student life?
I would say that student life shapes Critic.
Has Critic influenced your time as a student?
No, I wouldn't say it's influenced it.
Do you think Critic represents student life accurately?
I'm not sure. I don't know if I've read enough of it to say, but I don't think it sums it up incorrectly, I guess.
Would you ever get involved with Critic?
Probably not. I'm not really a writing person, and I don't think I'd be brave enough to go on the blind date, so probably not.
How often do you read Critic?
Not very often, much less than I'd like, but when I do read it, I tend to have a pretty good flick through it.
Do you think student life shapes Critic or Critic shapes student life?
I definitely think student life shapes Critic.
Has Critic influenced your time as a student?
I think yes, quite a lot, because I read probably 2 or 3 editions before I was a student when my sister was studying, and I also read it quite a lot in my first kind of few months at university. I suppose it's quite an important part for anyone who's kind of like feeling homesick or wanting to kind of feel more involved in university life.
Do you think Critic represents student life accurately?
No, I don't think it shapes student life as a whole accurately.
What is your favourite part of Critic and why?
I think my favourite part is probably the blind date, and it's just because I know that it's there in every edition, and it's always pretty funny.
Informative. Relevant.
Interesting.
Creative.
Inclusive.
Entertaining.